back. How you guys going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Sick. Next episode, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You can't see it. I have no idea. Jodie has a dog called Margot, and she's
just staring as hey.
Yeah.
beyond cute. I don't know what word is for this animal, but it's stunning. Yeah.
If you all subscribe, she can be our next guest.
I like it.
We'll put her
I
in.
like
We'll
it.
see what she's got to say.
Oh yeah, Margaret.
She's got what?
Man, gang.
Right,
We are back. All of our inboxes have been blowing up, which is sick. Gus is like running out of battery because LinkedIn. I told you it was going to go crazy.
We'll see.
It's going to be crazy.
I was asking. All right.
Hannah's still down in Tassie. We've been working, chatting as much as we possibly can. She just sent us a video. We haven't seen it yet. Let's see what she's up to, eh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey gang, I was just thinking about how quickly a term such as social distancing can become commonplace in our vernacular, like so quickly, through the media, through health officials, through policy, etc. And I guess, because I've never used that term ever before. I mean, I get it. I get keeping your distance. I get social distancing. And obviously now there's a hugely critical and important reason to do that, even more so, and we're all vigilant and all the rest of it. I was just thinking how quickly cultures are formed. And in this current situation with, COVID-19, like we are one big global interconnected community, and social distancing is something that we're all saying, we're all reading, and just how quickly that's happened. And that's just really all I wanted to share from the field, from beautiful bad fires. Anyway, bye.
Oh, thanks, Jay.
That was Hannah.
Eddie. Hey, didn't you guys see that? I think it was a tweet, but I can't remember who the original person was, but I think I might have forwarded it to one of you, but I saw it from a friend of mine, Minaj Diaz, who's a amazing meditation and yoga instructor. He's actually like global ambassador for Lululemon. He also owns A Space. So if you're looking for meditation stuff, hit him up. But he shared this tweet and that said, social distancing, no, physical distancing, yes. Basically, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But how's that? I think we should be going about, the term, Hannah, you're right. It's everywhere, but it might be the wrong word. Like, no, social, let's connect still. Just don't hug and kiss and make out.
Yeah, I think it's such a powerful distintion, like the social and the physical.
Yeah. All right, physical distancing from now on.
How people call social and make both. I remember, I don't know if this is relevant, but I guess it's an interesting thought or perspective. But so I grew up in Argentina, right? And back then, or up until social distances became a topic of conversation, we would call it personal space, right?
Yeah.
And I grew up in Argentina where your personal space is very close, right? Like literally, people sit very close to each other. You kiss and hug. You share a drink called mate that we all suck from the same straw and no one cares. It's kind of like...
Fuck, not anymore.
Well, it's kind of like not a problem. Like I remember growing up, for example, another thing that shocked me. Growing up, being in a team, like a soccer team or a basketball team or whatever, if there was one bottle of water, you all share the same bottle. There was like no... But not even a consideration, right, growing up there. When I came to Australia at 17 years of age, it was like a massive no-no. Like, no one shares a bottle. You clean it up before you touch it. Personal space was like, hi. And I'm going, what the fuck with this country? Like, people are really far away from each other. And I noticed that personal distances, it's really remarkable. I think today it's almost like the other way to think about it is you need to increase your personal space, if you will. Just increase it a bit until we figure out what's next. This seems to be the advice, right?
And that's also where that change seems to be so hard. Like, it's really interesting that Hannah pointed out, like, a new term like social distancing or physical distancing that can like pop up and it can spread like
Spread in
wildfire.
like a day.
Exactly, and everyone knows what you're talking about now too. When you mention it, you
Even
get like
walking down the street.
an elbow bump or
Right, when you walk past, like yesterday when we went to get some lunch, when we were walking past those people, you notice we like all kind of went.
Everyone is going.
We're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but at the same time, like,
Look at us.
Stay away. The next episode.
Next episode we'll have a widescreen.
Big table in the middle.
But yeah, but at the same time, I think it's really interesting to see that, like, as you said, like the physical aspects of it, that change seems to be so hard to make. I know my dad, he's lucky enough to be in the south of France and spend all of his time in the south of France. And
Fuck, that sucks.
yeah, it's a hard life for him. But there it's the same. Like everyone hugs, everyone kisses. Like he goes and has his morning coffee somewhere, and he kisses 5 guys just because they know each other.
Well,
That's what he does.
That's another one. I grew up in kissing guys. No, like you kiss guys and girls and anyone, adults. That's how you do it.
Until you say good day.
Yeah. And now he was like,
Yeah. Well, for my dad, he stopped doing all of that about like a week and a half ago already. He was really early with that because he is in the risk group. He is a bit older, and it's really interesting to see hear his perspective on it as well, and like how much people around there think he's crazy. Like they definitely don't take him serious, and they definitely think that he's exaggerating things, and he's like, "Oh, that's that crazy Dutch dude. Let's let him sit in the corner by himself."
Give us the keys.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
It's fascinating. I mean, I think we can't underestimate the impact you have, right? So and fingers crossed that in some way, because if anything, one would argue that you want the opposite. Like social and physical closeness makes people come together, makes people connect, makes people far more human, right? It's very, but the distancing almost sounds like a negative word. Sounds like we. Really
I'm just thinking about maybe like five or so different DMs that came into me over the last kind of 24 hours. A lot of them were talking about how do I stay connected with my team, and I think it was on the back of last episode when we talked about Thomas, you brought up like connecting with your team and calling a whole bunch, but a lot of the questions were more like, how can I keep that bond strong that I would have in like, hey, how you going, man? Like, that kind of, how do we keep the connection socially really strong in a digital way when we can't kind of walk up to each other and like give each other a hug and a kiss? So I think to paraphrase the question is, what is our tips to keep our team connection strong in more of like a team building way, as opposed to keeping you updated with what I'm doing? Big one. How are we going to lead teams through this? Gus, let's start with you. How would you, I know you had teams of hundreds.
Yeah.
If you were running them right now, I know you advise to a lot of companies. What advice are you giving to leaders at the moment?
Well, in general terms, when you build those big teams across the world, I always say, teams or businesses, if you will, are the sum of us, right? It's the team or the business will always behave as the average behavior of the people in it. Mm-hmm. So whatever we try to implement, whatever we try to do in whatever shape or form change needs to start with the individual. So, if we're going to set up a team that works remotely, we need to make sure that each individual behaves in ways. So don't underestimate the individual in the pursuit of the team. Because the team is the sum of, right? It's the sum of the individuals. So it's important that each one of the individuals feels healthy, connected, happy, etc. So don't underestimate that they have their own connections outside of that team, which is with the family, the children, the whatever. Invest in making sure they take care of that. They don't lose that at all, right? So at home or, things need to be okay. And you need to be, as a leader, aware, digitally, it doesn't matter, but connected with those people, each one of those people, to ensure that you understand where they're at, what the complications are, what the situations at home, etc. Very different to lead a team in which you've got 10 people and each one of those 10 are, let's say, or not even each one of those 10, but let's say 5 of the people in the 10 have elderly parents and they are taking care of them. Right? Those 5 people will behave different to 5 younger people that don't have any elderly parents, or 3 people that have kids or not have kids.
Yeah.
So the awareness of the sum of the parts and who you've got in your teams is actually one of the important things that you probably, there's many more, but that's one tip.
So you'd be connecting as opposed to one-to-many, trying to connect more one-to-one.
Yeah, and ensure that everyone is aware of that, right? So the more they share, I always say to people, don't underestimate that some of the things that affect you personally, if you declare them or not to the rest of the team will impact the team.
Yeah.
So let's say I don't tell you that I've got a sick, mom or dad, because I don't want anyone to know, because it's my private, personal stuff, etc. But by default, the rest of the team is noticing that you're not behaving or operating in the same way that you normally do.
Yeah.
So it's impacting them. They just don't tell. They just don't know what the hell's going on. So they're going, "What's wrong with Thomas? I don't know. He hasn't been the same. I don't know. I've noticed too. Why?" Where if you actually were, open enough to at least, even if it's not in detail, you don't have to say my dad is sick with, but you can at least say, "Listen, this is what's going on with me right now."
Yeah.
That ability to share some of your personal stuff, definitely with your leader in the group, of course, whoever the boss is, but categorically with each other as an individual will make a difference to the sum of the parts, because everyone will be aware of the context of each other. Yeah. So that's when it becomes
and
large.
Especially
really
now,
important.
Potentially in the next couple of weeks, everybody we know or somebody we know, there's going to be people sick. I think we're no medical experts, but right now, and it might not even be sick. It might be like, the kids aren't at school and I need to do this and I'm stressing or whatever it is.
Or in the high risk band or whatever.
Yeah, like we've had some friends reach out that actually a client reached out and she can't go to work because her husband was in close proximity to someone who has been. So she's like 3rd degree. And so it's like impacting that way. And she did the same thing. She's just like, hey, I just got to call it out that I'm working from home and I don't have access to certain things. Okay, so then you're saying also everybody's a leader.
Yeah.
So as a leader, reach out individually as much as you can, and then also in your teams, take the lead. Take the lead. Hey, how you going? You doing good?
What's happening? And again, don't be afraid of, maybe more than ever, sharing some of the things that are affecting you in some way, even if it's not in exact detail, but enough for the other person to kind of understand the context in which you exist.
That's what I started thinking of too when you actually said that. It's like, a lot of times you would actually try to hold something like that back because you feel like it's not the right place to share that with your team, or that like you're almost putting this burden on your leader or on your team by oversharing this type of information. But then by not sharing it, you're actually creating a worse situation than if you would share it, even if you might be kind of like a bit worried about it being a bit of an overshare or
I'm pretty sure you told me once perception's reality.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, don't forget that, in the absence of information, people make up their own minds.
Exactly.
So
if
you're acting weird or something is going on and you're not acting normal and you don't say what it is, people around you will speculate. They'll go, I think this is what it is.
Jump to conclusions, right?
Yeah, and because of how our brains work, exactly, and how we jump to conclusions. If it's about someone else, oftentimes those conclusions aren't the most positive interpretation of what it could be.
It's neg, right?
Yeah, unless it's about yourself. Like if it's about yourself, you always like
positive.
Yeah, exactly.
And also the worst kind of speculation is less about I wonder what's going on with them. I think this is happening with them. It's I wonder if they do that on purpose to me. They're not treating me the same way they always treated me. I think they're angry with me. I think they're angry with me because of, and then you start, and it's like, no, nothing happened. It was I just sent a text and I don't know, I didn't put the smiley face at the end, but I didn't mean, whatever. Very careful.
Yeah.
Oh man, Gus, you had something to say before we stopped you, and I said, "Hang on, stop." We'll start recording because you were on a bit of a roll.
That's right. I was just saying that I think there's something fundamentally critical in these times, which is to remember that spending disproportionate amounts of time in speculating about what the future holds.
Oh, that's right.
It's actually a really bad way of tackling disruption. Right? You don't want to sit there trying to speculate what's happening because, to be honest with you, no one knows. We have no idea how this is going to turn out. We have no idea how it's going to, roll out and eventuate and emerge as things change around the world. So I always say to people, try to spend the majority of your time in things that you can control, not in the things that you cannot at all. So speculating about the future is one of those things that it's only that speculation. So you might as well spend the time and the effort and the energy instead of just figuring out what it may be in actually doing what you can do. This is an example. I mean, we don't know exactly what holds the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months of business, 12 months of business. There's something we can control, which is we can share our minds and the experiences we've had with everyone. Well, fuck it, let's do it. Done. Let's get in it. We can control that. Let's go. Right, see what happens. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you're doing something that you can control.
Yeah.
I think that we actually got a DM from no, she asked me not to say no.
Yeah.
We got a DM from a person who has a small business, small business with no online store. And right now, nobody's going into the stores. Well, there's it's almost like a tap's been turned off, right? Everyone's kind of being a little bit scared. So doesn't have an online store. And she was like, hey guys, love your insight. Any thoughts on what I can do in my business right now to kind of, I guess, the same thing, like what can I do? Because I'm feeling kind of helpless. Like I'm at my store. She's still going every day. Doors are open, stock's on the shelves. What can she do? Let's just throw it out. I've got my ideas, but Thomas, what are you thinking if somebody asks you that question? What's going on?
I think it's a tricky one. Like it totally depends on what type of store you have as well, what type of products you sell, how often you sell them, all of those different things. I think, and again, like one of the most important things, and it's going to sound like a broken record a little bit, but it's again around that connection and being able to actually connect with people. If you actually have a physical store, normally that will come out of people walking into your store, and that's when you start having those conversations with them. Those conversations lead to positive interactions for everyone, hopefully a bit of value created, and hopefully for the owner of the store a sale, and the customer leaves with a beautiful product that they can start using or wearing from then on. If that's not possible anymore now because there's just not enough people physically coming into your store, think about how you can start building those connections. And that might be by like leveraging digital things. And I think other than kind of what we spoke about last time, where it was more around teams, how do they connect internally with their teams? That's where you want to talk a little more about like software that allows you to connect, and kind of video calling software, and that other software that I mentioned. Here social media is going to most likely be way more important, because that's just kind of like the infrastructure is already there for you to connect with potential customers. So I would say take that as a starting point, start looking at what you already have, and how you can actually leverage what you already have to kind of increase your reach. But also, I think more importantly, maybe now, like normally when it comes to social media, you're looking at the quantity of kind of relationships and connections that you have on the platform. How many people you have following you, how many people are you interacting with. I think now the focus should shift a bit more to focusing on the quality of the interaction. So how strong is that interaction actually that you're creating on one of those platforms?
Gus, I'm going to throw you under the bus. For those who don't know, Gus used to have a business in Argentina. Where was it?
Argentina.
Yeah, whereabouts?
Buenos Aires.
Okay, juice shop.
Yeah.
I want you to put your juice shop owner hat on, so back to small business. If you still had that right now, and people weren't coming in to get juices,
I'm fucking panic time.
What would you be doing?
Panic. It would be crazy.
What would you do? I know I'm throwing you on the bus.
Hang on. The reason why I'm saying panic is because I want to make sure that everyone knows this, right? Is that despite the fact that we're here and we might sound calm and coherent and explain things from from this place, it's important to understand that also panicking and being scared and afraid and helpless, it's also a very expected emotion to have, right? If you had a physical store and that physical store didn't sell toilet paper right now, which is what everyone seems to be wanting to buy, you are in a degree of pain, right? I guess what we're trying to encourage everyone is to go do make sure that, if there is a significant disruption as big as this, you do consider that there will always be some opportunity, something that you can try, test, etc., etc. I mean, and equally, we need to acknowledge that potentially in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, there might be some that don't survive in the same shape that they are right now. They might emerge in a different shape, with a different business, with a transformed business, with no business and a new career or new life. There will be all sorts of shapes, right? And I think it's important to know that. But look, I would have, if I wasn't on social media at that point in time, and which I wasn't, I guess I wasn't on social media then, well, not at the scale. And all I had was my physical store and the people that came through. I guess I would think about how do I communicate with them from the distance. So I will turn my entire, front window into a messaging board that I will send messages to people. So when they drive past or walk past, I'm telling them shit. I'm almost like it'll be like I would try to write in there as much as possible. It's like, you don't even need to come in to buy something from me. I'll hand it over through the door. Whatever, pay me over the internet. I don't even need your cash. I don't know, whatever. Just to make sure that they know that I'm here still and I'm open, despite the fact that they might not want to come in. Or my hygiene is of the best. Or before you come in, I'll give you I don't know, whatever it is, but I'll be trying to do something along the lines.
I can hear you now.
Keep forgetting. You probably have heard nothing of what I just said, but it sounded good because I was excited. Right? But yeah, I'm assuming that's one thing that comes to my head straight away. But
I had a thought because, like, you guys know I was a small business for a long time, and selling physical product is kind of my wheelhouse.
And some of those didn't have social media platforms, did they? Back in the day?
At the start, no.
They were just
no. And there was even little things like, so when I had a bar, I don't know. That's the breeding zone, right?
If someone says no more of these and you bust what do you do?
Very, very, very tricky. For this one here, it's kind of a loaded question because I've had time to think about it, right? Because it came in last night.
He was just making himself.
But I threw you guys to go first in case you had a great call.
Let me tell you the answer now.
You know what? The message seemed pretty from a place of stress. So I thought about it, and I already sent a reply on our behalf. I hope you're listening to this because you've got two more super valid ideas. I just thought and went really simple, okay, what can you do? Like Thomas said, use social media. And I was like really practical, like, hey, pick the product of the day, set up your phone, like, hey, it's Geordie from whatever shop. I just want to show you the product of today. Today we're pushing this product. It's this. Look how good it is. Look it on. And do that customer service experience you do in person. Like, hey, were you looking for jeans? Awesome. What kind? Do that all as a product of the day to upload across all your channels.
But if you don't have channels at all because you've never done it, then you have to set up, right?
Today's the time to start. And I mean, that's like us, man. We didn't have this channel. And in five days now, we've built a website, an Instagram. Thanks for following, like all those sorts of things. So you do have power. So just do something like you were saying. That's kind of where my brain went. Start just... Rather than sit there and
I wonder
speculate,
if it's going to work or not.
Just fucking give it a crack, right? So I went product of the day and then offer drive-by shipping. So like you drive your car past, like we don't need Shopify, we don't need Squarespace, we don't need payment gateways, and we don't know what's going to happen with shipping and couriers and all those sorts of things. But if you are my customer and I'm just starting, you probably live near me, drive past, I'll run out and I'll throw it through your window. Or I'll have a safe drop-off spot, or tell me if you live in my town, I'll do delivery myself tonight. You tell me the door, I'll ring the doorbell, drop it. I'm sure you can, pay over the phone, all those sorts of things. And then just scream from the rooftops, hey, if you're at home and you've been thinking about some jeans or a jumper, please support your local business. Because like we were saying yesterday, like small business, and I'm being hyper local right now, is really important. It is really dear to my heart because, I was a small business guy and, go support your small local grocer. I think Coles can kind of handle the, a little bit of a sink. Support the local guys as much as you can. So reach out to them and say like, hey, I want some jeans for something or to wear around the house because I need a new house uniform.
But I don't want to.
So just do that. Just do that. And like if you're an owner of a store and you're scared about platforms, like literally, I'm sure you've got an iPhone or something close to video call a customer. It's no difference to talking to your friends. So simple as that. Again, last thoughts. Let's sign it out.
Well, I think, just have a look at all your things that you do have control over and see if you can unlock them for value. So, if you're a small business, you do have a supply chain and logistics capability. You do bring product from various different places. Is this the time to think of other products that you might be able to provide that are on demand, that are different to the ones you've had before, and find a way to deliver them in a way that, have a think of your strengths.
I would say, same. Like make sure that you think about what you can do, what you do have control over, and actually take that action.
Just do shit, right?
That's it.
All right, gang. Hope you're staying safe out there. Elbow bumps to everybody. Sweet. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.